So we have, we have this different way to know. Yeah, we have these two ways. One is through the right reason, and then the one is through the direct experiences. And some people say, just finding out is the right knowledge. Yeah, and some say just having the experience of that thing is the right knowledge. But then from the Buddhist point of view, so we say just finding out is not the right knowledge, or just having experience of something is not the right knowledge. But we have to have the right experiences based on meditation, which is based on the right view. Yeah? And then, when you meditate, sometimes, when you don't have the right view, and then you meditate, and then you can experience things. Yeah? Like for example, the monk, they meditate bone, and then they can experience bone. Right? The view might be wrong. Yeah? The samsara is not the bone, but then, when you meditate, and then you can experience bone. Yeah? So likewise, you can experience, so if you meditate peace, then you can experience peace. Yeah? And if you meditate love, and then you can experience love. Yeah? And also, so when you meditate also self, and also you can experience self, right? So this shows that whatever you meditate, you can experience that object. Yeah? Okay? So why can we experience everything? Yeah, so that's my question. Right? Do you have any cases why we can experience everything? If you meditate something and then you can experience that. Right? So why is that?
It's within us. It's already within us.
It's within us.
Because I'm focusing on that. Then I experience.
Yeah.
It's like a door that I open.
Because we have a mind.
Because you have Yeah. I'm not sure about the answer also. Yeah. Because in the text, so we say if you meditate mind, so you experience everything as mind. Yeah? And if you meditate space, then you experience everything as space. And if you meditate bone, and then you experience everything as bone. Right? And that's because, so all appearances are your mind. Yeah? And also, they're also the manifestation of your mind. Yeah? So you can manifest anything. So right now, you see the phone, it's also your manifestation of your mind. Yeah? So the phone appears to you is the manifestation of your mind. The computer is the manifestation of your mind. The whole universe is the manifestation of your mind, which means your mind is, creating everything. Yeah? So when your mind is creating everything, and then if you force your mind to create something, like a space or like a mind, right? So for the time being, you can experience that. Yeah? So when you force your mind, because if the phone was not made by your mind, right? If your phone was not the manifestation of your mind, and then you cannot experience phone everywhere. Yeah? Because phone is not the manifestation of your mind, and the phone is not, your mind itself. Right? But since, the whole samsara, the whole appearances, human beings, books, the matter, non-matter, everything is your mind itself. Your mind is manifestation. Your mind is manifesting in everything. So if you try to force your mind to think of one thing, or if you try to force your mind to meditate one thing, then just for the time being, not for permanent, but for the time being, you can see that thing, only that thing. But to do that, you need to have a very strong mind, and a very flexible mind, and a very competent mind. Yeah? And we have this, in the text we say it's called calm abiding, calm abiding meditation, shine. So when you have the shine, and then you can meditate anything, and you can force your mind to manifest anything. You can force your mind. So that's how the practitioners, when they meditate, first they try to have the strong mind. If you don't have the strong mind, then you can't manifest, right? So then what appears to you is through your mind, but also through the karma. Yeah, through the karma, through ignorant mind. But then when you have this karma abiding meditation, yes, when you build the karma abiding meditation, when your mind is very calm, very strong, very stable, very aware, or very present, and then you can just focus on one thing, and you can just manifest that. Yeah, and then you try to meditate that for a long time with the karma abiding meditation as a base, and then you can see that thing. Yeah? And practitioners, they use that to remove their feelings. Sometimes they also try to force their mind to meditate on something to remove their feelings. Sometimes also their views. Yeah. So some practitioners, they have the feeling of happiness, and then now they want to remove the feeling of happiness. So they use this method to remove the feeling of happiness, and then they try to remove the feeling of suffering, and then they try to remove the feeling of the neutral feelings, and now they have the views, right? When they have no feelings, they have views, and they're still attached to the views, and now they want to remove the views also, and then they can force their mind to manifest something. Yeah. So if you have the view of mind only, and then the practitioner will meditate maybe space, right? And then when he meditates, he'll force his mind to manifest space. And then when he forces his mind to manifest space, and then he only sees space, and then the view of the mind is gone. Yeah? So this is how so you can have the experience of things. Yeah? Because sometimes we hear and then we are surprised that how can the mind experience everything? How can the mind manifest everything? Because we think the phone is there and we think the computer is there. Yeah? That's our tendencies. And when you think the phone is there, and then you think, how can the phone see phone everywhere, right? And we also think the computer is there. We also think, the bone is just inside me, right? It is not the mind, but it's something out there. So when you have this thinking, and then it's hard to accept that mind can see bone everywhere. But if you know that, okay, this is just an appearance to your mind, and this is just the manifestation of the mind, and then and then you can come to the point, okay, so maybe there's a way to see everything as a bone if I manifest my mind as bone. Yeah. So for example, there's also for example of a milk. Yeah. So if you take the milk, so the milk is churning. Yeah. So the milk is churning, and if you don't do anything, and the milk will churn by itself. And then when the milk is churning, sometimes cheese might come out, sometimes the butter might come out, sometimes cheese butter might come out. But if you force the milk, to bring cheese, right? Then butter will not come out. It's only the cheese that's coming out because you're forcing the milk to just bring the butter out. Yeah? Or if you force the milk to bring out just the cheese, and then you churn in a way where where you only bring the cheese out, and then it only brings the cheese out. But if you don't force, if you just if the milk is churning by itself, then maybe sometimes cheese and then butter comes out. Right? And also, the milk example, if you think properly, and if you don't churn the milk at all, yeah, so if you let the milk stay, and then you get the pure milk. Yeah? So there's no butter coming out. There's no cheese coming out, right? If you don't churn, so if you just keep the milk by itself. So likewise, the mind also is the same thing. Yeah? So if you because the mind is not stable, it's moving, right? And it's moving by causes and conditions. So if you don't force the mind, by the power of the causes and conditions, things can appear, right? The things appear, everything appears. But if you force, or not force, but if you meditate in a certain way, just to manifest something, like to manifest only space, or to manifest to see just the higher realms, and then that thing will only appear to the mind, right? But if you don't churn the mind, if you just rest the mind, and then there's no appearances, yeah. So there's no. The mind is there. Yeah. And also we say, the mind can be forced. I mean, the mind can be forced into the mind can be forced into transforming into anything. Yeah. The mind can be transformed into space, the mind can be transformed into mind, the mind can be transformed into bones and everything. Yeah? And that's because the mind is a very strong base. Yeah? For example, for a thing to be transformed into something, that thing should be very strong. So we say that thing should be very strong to transform it into something else. Yeah? Like if you want to transform the water into fire, the water cannot be transformed into fire because the water is not a strong base. Yeah. So we try to boil the water to transform into fire, and then the water gets evaporated. Yeah. So the water is not a strong base to transform into something else. But the mind, the text says the mind is very strong. The mind is a strong base, and the mind is a strong base because it comes from previous life. Yeah. So when you count your previous life, the mind has been there since many lifetimes. So the mind has been coming down from many lifetimes. So that's why the mind is strong. Yeah. And when the mind is strong, then the mind can be transformed into something else.
Can I ask something?
Yes.
Is it the same thing now with Yidam practice? What you are explaining now?
Yes. With the Yidam practice, you have to also form the Yidams. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You mean visualize?
Yes, yeah. So you have to also visualize, the yidam, and also it says the yidam comes out from emptiness, and then it also goes in and goes off in emptiness. But you have to manifest that, and then there's also the completion stage where you have to also do that. Yeah, so it's not real. Yeah.
You said you studied these different texts.
Yes.
And now the explanations you are giving now, which text are they based on? Is it Zen? Sometimes it seems to me. It's Buddhist epistemology, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. And then when you say, so when you talk about direct experience and indirect experience based on a correct reason, then you are talking about Nyantsum, Tsema, and Chipak Tsema. Is that right?
Yes.
These are the Tibetan terms for that.
Mm.
And then another question. You said once you've experienced the phone's impermanence directly, you won't fall back, right?
Yeah.
You said.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on that a little bit? How you mean that? That means if you've seen the phone's impermanence once directly, you will always do so in the future?
Yeah.
Do you mean that?
Yeah. The first question, yes, it's so I try to summarize from the whole text. So some are from Tsema, some are from Oma. Yeah. So I try to summarize the whole thing, and then I thought about it, and then And then the second thing is, so when you have a direct experience based on the right view, that the phone is impermanence, and then so when you see the phone, and then you see the phone is impermanence. Yeah? So it won't come back. But if you just try to meditate, the phone is impermanent, not on the basis of the right understanding, but if you just meditate, the phone is impermanent for a long time, and then you might have the experience that the phone is impermanent, but it might fall back. Yeah. So the main difference is, one is with the view and one is not with the view. Yeah. When you have the view, when you have the right view that the phone is impermanent, and then you meditate, and then you see the phone is impermanent, and then you won't fall back. Yeah? And then you won't think, oh, the phone is permanent. Yeah? But if you don't have the right view, and if you just meditate, the phone is impermanent, and then you might have an experience that the phone is impermanent. But since it's based on doubt, since you don't have the right understanding of the phone is impermanence, and then so when your doubt changes, your view changes, and then your experience will also fall down. Yeah?
And let's say I have the right view, and then maybe one day there is a direct experience of the phone's impermanence, and it's based on the right view, okay? But maybe next day my mind is more obscured and I'm somehow in trouble, so my mind is not as clear as the day before. couldn't it be that that very next day I don't have a direct experience of the phone's impermanence, even though I've had it before? And then maybe next day again, my meditation is better, and again I have a direct experience, and so that it switches back and forth, always provided that I have the right view. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. I think once you have an experience with the right understanding, and then so you don't have the view that the phone is the phone is permanent. Yeah. And also the next day, post meditation, so you might see phone is out there, but you still think, okay, the phone is impermanent because you have an experience of that.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's possible. So because the day before I experienced the phone's impermanence directly,
Yeah.
I know that the next day when I don't experience it directly, I still know that it's impermanent because I've had this experience one day ago.
Yeah.
Is that correct to say it like this? Because sometimes mind is clear, sometimes less clear, so
Yeah.
as long as realization is not stable, you might see the impermanence directly one day, but the next day you won't.
Yeah. So we say to see the phone impermanence directly, so you need to reach very high, right? Very high level. And when you reach that high level, so your mind is more or less clear, right? So for now, with no calm abiding meditations, you won't be able to see the phone is impermanent. I think it's pretty hard. But if you once you reach a high stage, then you see the phone is impermanent, right? And then your mind is more or less clear. But then in the post meditation period, right? So when you meditate, you're bound to see that phone is impermanent, right? So that's easy. But then once you reach post meditation period, and then still you have the concept. Still you think. Still you have the concept, but you don't think the phone is real. So it's a yeah. So still you have the subject-object duality, right? Yeah. Yeah. Still you have the subject-object the duality, but also you will still not think the phone is permanent. Right? The phone, the thinking that the phone is permanent is gone, yeah? Because you experience the phone is impermanent. Right? So whenever you see the phone, you see the phone as impermanent. Right? So it's like so when you see the phone is black, right? So not by science, but you experience the phone is black, and then you don't think the phone is red or blue, because you always so whenever you see the phone and you see the phone is black.
Yeah. Even though you might not have a direct experience.
Yeah.
Because you are in post meditation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So you have any more questions? So then we can talk about the experiences. Yeah. So what appears to us, right? So when we say experiences, it also means what appears to us, yeah? What appears to the mind, right? So when I experience phone, it also means the phone appearing to me, yeah. And also it also means that the mind is also manifesting in that object. Yeah. So these three is the same meaning. Right? So when I say, okay, I experience phone, or the phone is appearing to my mind, or my mind is manifesting as phone. Yeah. So these three means the same thing. Yeah. So when you talk about experiences, we have 4 kinds of experiences in our life. Yeah. Or 4 kinds of things that appears to the mind. Yeah? Or 4 kinds of things that the mind can manifest into. Yeah? So the first kind of experience is caused by the karma. Yeah, and then the second kind of experiences is caused by the concept or maybe ignorant mind. And then the third kind of experience is caused by wrong meditation. I mean, caused by the meditation which is not based on the right view. And then the fourth kind of experiences is the experiences caused by the meditation which is based on the right view. Yeah. So we have this. So we have four kinds of experiences. Okay. And then so the first kind of experience, yes.
The fourth again.
Yeah, the fourth experiences is the experiences that is based on meditation. On our right view. Yeah. So we have these four experiences, and now the first experiences. Yeah. The experiences which is born from the karma. Right. So what are they? Is my question.
Well, I think everything which is appearing to us basically is karmic. Samsaric appearance is karmic.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Maybe you can say what means karma.
Karma.
Not everybody will know that
Yeah.
term.
Yeah. Okay. So the karma means action. Yeah. And it means the mind's action. Because it's only the mind that can, it's the mind action. And then we have, the positive mind action and the negative mind action, right? And then the positive mind action will create the positive appearances, and then the negative, mind action will create a negative appearances. Yeah? For example, the heaven, right, the form world. So they are the result of the positive mind action. And then when you talk about the hell and also the hungry ghosts, they are the result of the negative mind action. Right? And we say, it's just the mind action can create the appearances. Yes, not the physical action. So only the physical action with no mind action, they cannot create appearances. Yeah. So, like for example, if you see a stone rolling from a hill down, yeah. So that's just a physical action. It won't create karma. Yeah. So that's an action, but it's not a mind action. That's not a mind action, or it's not linked with the mind action. Yeah? So when it's not linked with the mind action, and then there's no result. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, and so we have four kinds of experiences. The first experiences is born from the karma, right? And then when you say, so what kind of experiences is born from the karma? Yeah. And then we say something that is not created by human beings, or something that cannot be damaged by the human beings. Maybe that is so those are the experiences, right? That is born from the karma. Yeah. For example, the objects of the five consciousness. Yeah. So the form is the form, the sound, the smell, the touch, and then the sound, and then the sound. Yeah. These five objects are born from the karma. Yeah. So you see them, you see them or they appear to you because of a cause, and then the cause is the karma. Yeah. The karma is the one that is there. And then the second types of experiences, or the second types of appearances is caused by the concept or the ignorant mind. Yeah, like we say, it's big, it's small, it's good, it's bad, it's real, it's something out there. So these can also appear to your mind. Yeah? So when you look at the phone, the phone appears big to you, or the phone appears small to you. And if you look at the place appears beautiful to you, the place appears not so beautiful to you, and these are caused by the concept, or maybe by the ignorant mind. Yeah. So these are not caused by the karma, but it's caused by the concept. It's not there, but then you have the wrong view, and then you think, okay, it's big, it's small, it's nice, it's bad. Yeah? So this is the second type of experiences that one can have. And then the third experiences is the experiences caused by meditation, which is not based on the right view. So like you meditate bone, or you meditate space, or you meditate mind, right? So these are the experiences that is, that can appear to you, but it's not based on the right meditation, or it's not based on the right understanding, right? And then the fourth kind of experiences, or the fourth kind of thing that appears to you is the experiences that is based on the right meditation, which is based on the right view or the right knowledge. Yeah. So we have this four appearances, or we have these four kinds of experiences, and they have four different causes. Yeah. And then the causes, the karma can be the cause, and then the concept of the ignorant mind can be the cause, and also meditation based on doubt can be the cause, and also the meditation based on the right view can be the cause, right? So the cause can be anything, and then things will appear to you, right? And then things will appear to you, or you can say the mind will manifest as that thing. And then some people can have these four causes, and they can have the four experiences, yeah. And some people can only have three causes, and some can only have two causes. Yeah. So for example, a normal human being will have maybe two causes. Yeah. So he has the karma, and he has the ignorant mind. Right. So he has two kinds of experiences. He has the so he will see form. He will see he will experience form. He will experience taste. He will experience sound, he will experience the smell and touch. Yeah? And also he has the cause, which is the concept. So when he experiences all these particles, he will also, they will also appear to him as big, small, good, bad, happy, sad, clean, permanent. Yeah. So these are all born from ignorant mind. So a normal human being has both the causes, the karma and the concept. And then when you go higher, the practitioners, right, when they go higher, and then they remove the second cause, which is the concept. So and then when they see things, right, so when they experience things, and then they don't see things as good and bad, and they don't see things as big and small, right? But they see particles because they have the karma, right? So they can still see the appearances. They can still see the appearances on their mind. They can still see the form. They can still see the smell. They can still experience the touch. The sound, but since they don't have the second cause, which is the concept or the ignorant mind, to hold them as real, so they won't appear to them as that, right? Okay, and then for some people, some higher practitioners, right? So for them, they might not have both the causes, so they don't have the karma, and they don't have the ignorant mind, right? So like the Buddha, so for him. So there's no appearances also, right? So there's no appearances of the five objects, yeah? Because the appearance of five objects is born from karma, and since he has no karma, when his karma is purified, right? So when his karma is purified, then he does not see any objects, right? And then also, for him, there's also, so when you don't see any objects, so then, there's no need to say it's big, it's small, it's good and bad, yeah? Maybe we can just meditate for a while. Okay. So we can meditate for 5 minutes, and then we can have 5 minutes question answer. That's good. And then you can reflect a bit. question you can ask. I mean, the questions are very good, I think. Yeah.
I have one.
Yes?
At the beginning of the talk, you spoke about trust, and I wanted to ask you if you have experienced that trust goes into wisdom or experience for you. For example, something that you trusted, that you were not sure that it really exists, or that it has converted into something that you experience in the practice.
So I didn't really understand your question.
Yeah.
The trust?
Yeah, the trust. There are some concepts here that you cannot experience right away because you don't have, but you trust them.
Yeah.
And my question is sometimes it becomes something that you experience and you understand it more than you trust it.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is, yeah. So there are things that you trust.
Yeah. Okay.
And when do they become, or have you experienced them not only trusting, but understanding them?
So I think, by concept, yes, I understood, but then, with the direct experiences, no, but just because I understood with the concept, so I trust them. Yeah.
But afterwards,
then afterwards,
do they become experienced?
yes, so there's a way, but you have to practice to experience them. So sometimes there are things that you trust, right? But then, to see them directly, you have to experience them also. Yeah? So for that, you also have to practice, and then maybe you might experience them. Yes, when you practice, and then you will experience them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So does that mean that right intellectual understanding transforms through practice into true experience?
Yeah.
Does it like a vipassana, it becomes insight? Is this right?
Yes. Yeah. So you have to meditate. Yeah. First, you find the right view. To checking and also analyzing. And once you check and analyze, and then you come to the right view, and then you have to meditate, and then you have to stabilize it. Yeah. And then you will find the right view.
And right view means is always intellectual first. Because this was also my question. How can intellectual something intellectually turn into something real experience?
The right view. Yes. The right view can have two meanings. So the right view can also come with the right reason, and also the right view can also come with the right experiences. Right. So with right meditation.
And there is difference between.
Okay. So one is the concept, and then one is non-concept.
And how to get from concept to non-concept?
How to get? I mean, first you have the view. Yeah, first you have the concept that the things is impermanent, right? So that's the first concept, right? Because you know it through the right reason, and then you have the concept that thing is impermanent, and now you have to meditate on that, right? And when you meditate, and then things will, they will just appear to your mind, and then okay, and then you have the direct experiences.
Meditate or contemplate? Because meditate for me means I let everything go.
Yeah.
And then the concept is gone also.
So I think so we have to meditate. Yeah. So for me, I think meditation means to be aware. Yeah. So you have to be aware of your right view, and then first you need to have the the flexibility of the mind. So when you have the flexibility of the mind, and then you can be aware. Yeah? So you won't be like, yeah. And then once you are aware of the view, right? And then you stay on that, and then you meditate, keep meditating, and then one day this will experience.
So when you talk about establishing the right view, the right concept, is that then Jagon, so analytical meditation, and then
Yes.
afterwards you change into Jokon, the resting meditation?
Yeah. I think that comes, first you have to find the right view, and then you do the Jegom and then Jogo. Yeah. So first you have to find it to the right reason, to concept, and then once you find it to the right concept, and then you meditate. Yeah. And then in meditation now you have two again. So first you examine again, and then you rest again, and then you examine again, and you rest again. Yeah. So when you examine, it's called Jegom. And then when you stabilize, it's called Jogo. Yeah? But then, for that, first you need to have the right view.
And so then in Jagom, it means you, in this analytical meditation, you refresh the view
Yeah.
again and again.
Yes, yeah. So you have to
Reminding
train.
yourself, and then you let go into Jokon.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Mm.
Stabilizing. How to do?
Stabilizing. I think I will talk tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning it's coming. Yeah. Stabilizing, yeah. Yeah. I will talk tomorrow.
How do you know that you have a direct experience and it is not some kind of false perception? So you might think, now I have the direct experience, now this is the nature of mind, but actually it's just some wrong view. So how do you know that it's actually a direct experience?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think, how do you know it's a direct experiences? So I think sometimes you have these two kind of experiences. Yeah, so you might experience not by right knowledge, and then you can also experience by right knowledge. Yeah, so you can have both experiences, and then both they look more or less same. Yeah. And then some people they don't have the right knowledge, and then they might experience something like that, and then they say, okay, I know my mind. Right? I see emptiness, right? So how do you know? So if I give you a very simple answer on the text, it says, when you have a direct experience of the mind, and then you don't have self-clinging. Yeah, so you don't have self-clinging, and then you don't have emotions. The self-attachment, the anger. So you see the signs, right? So when you don't have self-clinging mind, or when you don't have these emotions comes when you don't have the direct experiences of your mind. Yeah? But if you have the direct experiences of the mind, then self-clinging won't come. So when you sometimes you have an experience of something, and then you think it's the mind, but then you check your self-clinging. If your self-clinging is still there, then so you haven't had the direct experiences of the mind.
Okay, thank you.
To continue with this question,
Yeah.
so maybe you have a strong emotion like anger,
Yeah.
and then you look into the anger's nature, so to say. You try to find the one who's angry, and in that moment the emotion disappears completely, and so there's no emotion anymore. There's just peace. Would that be a direct experience?
How, for example? Yeah.
The emotion disappears from one moment to the next completely, and there's just peace and no concept, no.
Yeah, that can also be, so when you subdue your emotions temporarily. Yeah. So when you subdue your emotions temporarily, and then you still have the self-clinging mind, but then just for the time being, so your emotions won't come up. Yeah. And also we say, sometimes when you stop your veins, so temporarily, because you have an effect on the veins, the vein has an effect on the mind, and then the concept stops temporarily.
Okay, then how do you know if you have suppressed the emotion or if you have seen the nature of the emotion?
Sorry. Yeah. How do you know?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, that's a good question, yeah. You know, when you have when you subdue your emotions temporarily, I think for him it's very hard to know. Because for him, you know, there's no emotions, and then, then he thinks, oh, okay, my self-raging is gone. But then when his emotion comes up, and then he knows, yeah. There's also a story where there was once, there was a monk who meditated, and he temporarily subdued all his emotions, and then he thought, okay, now I reached nirvana, right? He was very happy, and then when he passed, what happens is, the Pardo came, yeah. The Pardo means intermediate state came, and when the intermediate state came, and then he knew, oh, okay, there's no nirvana, and then he got angry, and then so he said, there's no nirvana, because I thought my emotions was gone, and now I still have to take one more life because the Pardo came, right? And then he had this wrong view, and then so from this example, I think we can see that the person who's going through this, the person who subdues his emotions temporarily, I think for him also, I think it's quite hard to know. Yeah. But then from us, if he still has self-raging, if he hasn't tackled his self-raging mind, then he has self-raging mind. Yeah. So for that, he has to see, selflessness, yeah, the direct experiences of selflessness. So I think, for the person who subdues emotions temporarily, I think it's quite hard for him to know, yeah.
So you need a teacher.
Yes, yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that's, yeah. Yeah, that's, yeah.
Is it also possible just to have a passing by experience of insights?
The passing by experience of the insight. I think,
like not stable,
just,
not stable at all. Because now I understood whether it is real experience on the base of the right view,
yeah.
and then it doesn't go away anymore, or it was not, it was based on the wrong view.
Yeah.
But before I heard teachings, but I don't know if maybe I confuse everything now, that is also possible to have short insights in the nature of the mind, for example, even though one is not at all stable or something. I mean, the insight is not stable, it's just like an open window and then close it.
I think, I'm not sure, but I think one can have a short instant of experiences of the right view. Yes, we say the right view is emptiness, but it's only for a short. So when you meditate also, right? So when you meditate emptiness, you can stay in that emptiness for a short time. Yeah. Yeah. And also, so there are also many examples where it looks like so it feels like it feels like the experience of emptiness. Yeah. Okay, maybe we can stop. Yes?
But sometimes, I think everybody is doing a little bit sometime experience of emptiness, no? During meditation, and then it's such a nice, wonderful feeling, and then you want to catch, and then the problem starts. No? The need to let go, or yes, how to do. No, how to stabilize, because then I want to stay in this experience,
Yeah. So you need to have, so you need to be trained in the mindfulness and awareness. Right? So once you're trained in mindfulness and awareness, and then you can stabilize on the object. Yeah? So you have to also train in mindfulness and awareness. And that's why you need the karma abiding, because when you have the karma abiding, you're already trained in mindfulness and awareness. And then your mind is already trained and equipped. But then once you're not trained in mindfulness and awareness, and then your mind keeps changing the object, and then it cannot stabilize. Yeah. Okay. Sunam di tamje sivan tamje nuhe danam tamje le ke bala